All right, we're gonna get started in just a moment. Alrighty, sounds good. All right, let's do this. What is going on, everybody? I hope you guys can hear me. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you can hear me. Hit me up with a hashtag live if you're watching this live. If you're not, hashtag replay. All good. Guys, I'm gonna show you today how to turn what you already know into high income. All right, there's a huge industry right now happening, just growing. You know, we call it the knowledge business or the information business, right? And I wanted to simplify this because I see there's so much noise and it hurts me because I used to be kind of part of that noise, right? So I want to just kind of dive right into it. And if it's cool with you guys, I'll be using the whiteboard today. I found an old suit. I was like, you know what? Why don't I just kind of throw it and, go on the whiteboard. I haven't done that in a little bit. We've been busy with some other workshops, which, by the way, we have a workshop going on and we'll be hosting one in a couple of weeks. So if you want in on that, let me know below. I'll send you more info. I'll be discussing pretty much what we'll be doing on that workshop and just the bare bones of our system. All right. So I want to get started here, first of all, with traffic. Okay. Like, I want to simplify it in that you only need these three things. Okay. You only need traffic, which obviously is people, eyeballs, offer, which we're going to talk about if low ticket, if high ticket, which one do you prefer, which one's better for you, and finally, obviously, once you know how to convert them into cash, into money, into what actually is going to be your livelihood, right? So people always ask me, where, what platform, what traffic source, right? And the answer is, it depends on who you're targeting. It depends on you, right? Like, sometimes people want very black and white answers, but there's not, because it really depends on your specific, right? There's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, I'll tell you what my favorite is a little bit later, but nonetheless, this is the basic, the bare bones, right? And this could be paid traffic, this could be organic traffic. As I said, this could be a low ticket offer, which I, pretty much consider anything from 0 to 500 being a low ticket. Some people say 500 to 1,000, that's a mid, but whatever. We'll just kind of bundle it here up to, the 25K that we specialize in. All right, so I want to erase this and I want to guide you through our three-step system. So let me know, by the way, let me know below any comments that you might have, any questions that you might have, and I'll make sure to answer those as soon as I'm done the training or a little bit later on. All right, so I'm gonna erase this for a second, and we're gonna dive right into the first step, which we label or we call the Northern Star. Okay, and this is where you're gonna get clarity. Okay, this is just gonna be kind of like a basic overview of what do you need, what are the elements that you need to be able to get the clarity that you need, because here's the problem, guys. Most people get stuck in this first step, okay? Step 1 here. They get stuck in this first step, and because this step is not properly placed, when you go into the offer, when you go into conversion, when you go into sales, of course it's not gonna work. Okay, you guys need to understand that. And again, I want to just kind of share with you guys a quick story. As some of you guys know, my background is in digital marketing, and I've been doing that for a long time. I worked as a marketing director for a while, and then started my own agency, grew that to 6 figures and beyond in like less than a year. We've been able to help all kinds of clients. And it's funny because for a long time, we were struggling to get our own clients. For a long time, even though we were still getting results for people, we were struggling to get clients. And we thought that we had this nailed out, which is what normally happens. So probably a lot of you guys watching this that might say, I don't have problem with number one, Andres, which I'm gonna show you right. Well, that's as best as my star's gonna get. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I have more space. All right. Oh man, I'll just redo it. It's a little bit bigger, just so you guys can really see it. Okay, cool. So yeah, we were struggling, right, for a long time, and our offer was weak. We needed to hire a mentor after that told us, guys, your offer is weak, and the reason why your offer is weak is because you don't know this, right? So I'm gonna just dive right into this 6 elements. Number 1 is the niche. We're gonna talk about it, of course. Okay. 1 is the niche. Maybe I'll put a little number here. Yeah. And again, you can do this in you know, it depends on what pieces you have or where you would start, but this is kind of like your business in a box. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. So you gotta go to niche, result, the result that you give your clients. Okay, niche, result. Okay, current reality. Okay, which we'll talk about in a second. If you're taking, by the way, if you're taking notes, this is what you want to be writing down right now. Current reality pathway. Got my little cheat sheet there, so I don't forget. So when we're nervous, when we're live, we're like, oh, we can freeze sometimes. So I got my little sheet there, so make sure I copy everything properly. The offer, of course, we'll talk about that as well, and the authority. All right, so how do you get someone from a stranger to a paying client that like wipes $25,000 like payment in full? Like, how do you do that, right? And so we got niche, result, current reality, pathway, offer, authority. Okay, this is the Northern Star, guys. This is the only elements you're gonna need to be able to land those clients, to be able to make sales, because ultimately, as I mentioned before, there's traffic, there's offer, and there's money. Like, that's it, guys. Like, again, we don't want to overcomplicate this, because it's usually what ends up happening. We end up overcomplicating it. I hope that you guys can see me. Oh, I forgot my phone over there. Anyways, I hope you guys can see me. Maybe I should check. Give me a second. Let me check if all is well here. Yeah, looks like all is well. Perfect. I just want to make sure that you guys can see this. Anyway, so the niche, okay? People get this one confused as well. You know, we've talked about there's 3 markets only: health, wealth, and relationships, okay? Now, from here, you get sub-markets, and from the sub-markets, you get niche, and then you get sub-niches, right? Depends on how, you know, macro or, you know, tight you're going. In general, you want to go into the niche, okay? So, for example, coaches, okay? Coaches that are operating online, like online coaches, right? Like, that's a niche. That's like one of my niches. Or agency owners, online agency owner, that's a niche, right? Dentist, that's a niche. Plumbers, that's a niche, right? So I hope that's making sense, right? And a lot of people are like, yeah, you know, they ask questions like, what's the most profitable niche? And I always tell them, they all make money. You know, a lot of the times we want to simplify, we want to be like, oh, like, which one can I get the most money? It's like, you probably will get the most money on the one that's the most aligned with you, the one that's the most like congruent with who you are, with your superpower, which again, we'll get into just a second here. Okay, now the result. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road, because the result is very key. If you aren't able to communicate your value to your clients, you won't be able to close. Like, you won't be able to get someone excited about your opportunity, right? Like, when we get to the offer, if the result's not clear, they're not gonna close. Again, something we struggle personally. Here's some water here, my handy water bottle. So yeah, result. Okay, so for example, our result, and this is kind of like our classic 1 sentence like statement that you sometimes see in people's profiles. You see in my profile, like, I help like coaches and entrepreneurs you know, like generate 6 and 7 figures, you know, using, using Facebook groups, right? So that's the result, right? So in one sentence, people know what you do, right? I had a buddy of mine, he's helping plumbers, right? So he would say something like, I help plumbers get 5 to 10 new clients every single month using Facebook ads. Perfect. You got a result now, right? So think about, if you're watching this, let me know in the comments below, who do you help, right? Because you should know the who here. Who do I serve? Right? Like that question, you guys have no clue how much my wife and I have struggled with this question of like, who do we want to serve, right? And it's been tough because you always want to work with people that give you energy. You want to work with people that you can do amazing work together. You don't want to work with people that drain your energy. You don't want to, like, money will never justify. And if you're chasing the money, you're probably watching the wrong video or in the wrong group. So anyways, the result, you help blank, which is usually, it's your niche here. You want to call them out. I help plumbers, I help chiropractors, I help restaurants. Like, again, you want to simplify, you want to, right? Our thing is purpose-driven coaches. It's even more niche, right? It's people that are very purpose-driven. All right, number 3, current reality. All right, so what happens in current reality? This is where you are going to get very, very clear on the problem, the number 1 problem that you're gonna solve for them, okay? The number 1 problem they're struggling with, but most importantly, the pain, all right? Pain and problem are different, okay? Pain is like the thorn in the paw, okay? And this is a really cool example one of my mentors gave me. He said, imagine that there's a lion just out there in the wild, and he has this thorn in the paw and he can't eat, right? He can't hunt, he can't run. He just got this pain, that's like, he doesn't know how to get it out, right? It's very deep. He can't get it himself, okay? If someone comes out, and he's hungry, by the way, but if someone comes to the lion and says, hey, Mr. Lion, there's a bunch of antelopes over there. Here are all the antelopes. And thinks that that's the pain, right? In this case, like getting clients, usually becomes the problem. But that's the problem, it's not the pain. The pain is the thorn in the paw. So if you give him all these antelopes and you put this lion where there's all this food, but the lion's like, man, I still can't run, right? I still can't like do my thing because I have a thorn in the paw. And that's the pain, guys, okay? Pain is what's gonna move people to action, right? It's funny because we're wired as human beings just to be either, towards pleasure or away from pain, right? And usually, most often than not, pretty much every time, pain is the one that drives us the most to take massive action, right? So anyways, so you got the problem, you got the pain, okay? And again, you're getting real clear on this ones because, again, it all starts with the niche. You need to understand what are their pains, what are their problems, but as well as, what are the desires, right? What are the dreams? And anyway, the list goes on. But this, I would say, are probably the number 1 and number 2 most important when it comes to determining their current reality, okay? Another great example for you guys to just kind of visualize it, and we're gonna get to this in the pathway. Okay, all we're trying to do, guys, all we're trying to do in business here, guys, though, do not overcomplicate this. All we're trying to do is get someone from here, okay, let's call this like point A, okay, to point B, guys, okay? Sad to happy. From here to there. That's all you're doing, from one side of the bridge to the other side of the bridge, right? From current reality, right? Problem, pain, all these different things, to the result they want, right? Like this result will be right here, right? And the problem, all that will be right here. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what's the result you offer. What's the current reality? How do they feel right now? Ask yourself that question. Are they frustrated? Are they tired? Are they sick? Do they have mental illnesses? Like, where are they right now? Are they, about to, I don't know, go into more debt? Or are they, about to fire their employees? Like, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on what's true and what's actually your niche's main problem, main pain, main desire, main dreams, because you want to know, like, part of just influence and persuasion, guys, like just going back to like the basics of influence and persuasion with like Cialdini and all that stuff. It's like you got to understand what's top value for people, and you want to understand what's like the worst case scenario for people. We all have different fears, we all have different desires, and so it depends very specific on who you serve, right? Who you serve that is going to give you those answers. Okay, so we got the niche, who do I serve? Okay, we got the result. Again, you want to be able to communicate this in a very articulate manner, and as a matter of fact, we like using something that we call the power of three. I don't have enough time to go into that, but basically you expand on this result into like 3 different things, and then people, it's been discovered that in communication, people love in 3s. People understand and remember very well in 3s, right? Even one of my mentors, Chad Thibodeau, you might know him. He won Tucumã Club Award and all that, and so anyway, he was coaching me for a little bit, and he uses this power of 3 a lot, and he says, you know what, Andres, I discovered, okay, that people just remember the information better, and even in communication, even in sports, that's basically how they talk. And if you were to hear a game, for example, a soccer game, it's like Martinez passes the ball to Raul. Raul approaches the goal, passes on to the goal, right? So it's like right? So it's like in triplets. It's in 3s, and so we're just wired that way, right? I'm not gonna go away from business today, but we're also like, flesh, soul, and spirit. Like we're 3, like Trinity, God, Son, Holy Spirit. Anyways, 3, it's a very important number. It's very it's kind of almost wired in our brain, so we use that to our advantage. Anyhow, then we're gonna go into the pathway, okay? And I want to draw your attention back to this part right here, because this, my friend, these pillars right here that make up the steps, right? If you could almost picture, you could almost picture here, maybe, I'll do my wife's the one that draws. I suck. But for the purposes, right? All right, so we got, our current reality here, and we got our desired result here. Okay, so this person, right, needs to build a bridge to get to the other side. Forgive my bridge, not the it doesn't look like the most sturdy. But anyways, each of these steps, right, to get to the other side is what's going to be your pathway, right? So if I were to explain it a little bit easier for you, imagine, as I said before, that you're taking someone from A to B, right? From like bottom of the mountain to top of the mountain, right? So what are the actual steps that you're going to give someone, right? What are the steps you're going to give someone to give them that result, right? If you start reverse engineering, because you should know the result, right? Once you know the result, you can reverse engineer. Well, what's one step before that? Okay, and then once that's good, what's one step before that, and before that, and then you go back to like where they are right now. You want to build a bridge. It's getting pretty long. you want to build that bridge for them, and that becomes your pathway. And then the pathway is so important because, as you'll see in a bit on my step 2, to step 1, my step 2, I'm going to show you where a lot of these pieces start plugging in for your attraction system, which is going to be our number 2. Okay. And so, yeah, you got the niche, you got the result, you got the current reality, you got the pathway, and now we can go into the offer. Now you know what would make sense to present to someone over here because you understand these details and you understand what's the result. Now, let me give you a word of warning. If you do not know what result you give, or you have, fuzzy, you feel fuzzy about the result, or you don't know exactly who you serve, guys, you will not close. Like, it's going to be really hard for you to close. And it's been hard for us to close before we were started kind of implementing this, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, with the offer, of course, that's when we get into things like, okay, like what's the process, right? Like what's the, kind of part of that methodology that gets that offer very clear? What's the structure of the offer, right? Is it group coaching? Is it one-on-one? Is it a service? Like, what's the structure of you taking them through this path, right? And be able to give them a transformation, because ultimately, guys, we are here, right? We are here to serve and to help other people. So if we can do that with a very clear, specific path, then you've already kind of, fulfilled the role of being a guide, of being a mentor, right? To, for someone or whatever else. So you want to get extremely, extremely clear here of like the name of your offer, right? The structure of your offer, the duration of your program, right? And as I said before, I love charging no less than like $2,000 for different things. For our beta workshop, we did some crazy discounts and whatnot, but we will be launching, at like $4,500 or something like that. And we've sold things like 10,000, even 25,000. So yeah, like that's really what you want to be charging, because when you do this right, when you have a very powerful result, for example, what's a powerful result? Single to married, or single to dating. It's a great result if you're like a relationship coach. Or from fat to fit, boom, that's a result, right? From like no clients to clients, from like working 40 hours a week to working like 10 hours a week, like, right? So these are results, right? From A to B, from current reality to desired result, okay? And you'll hear me mention that a lot of times. But yeah, when I get clear on the name, when I get clear on the structure, on the duration, on the features, right? Features are very important. And in this case, the features become like, are you gonna do calls? Are you gonna give them videos? Are they gonna have your personal number and they can like, give you voice notes? Is like, what's the format, right? Like, what's the structure and the features of your offer? And of course, your pricing, right? You're gonna be charging, like I said, 2 to 25K. And again, I see some people already charging 2K and stuff, but they should be charging way more, like especially for services and one-on-one, man, you can charge a lot for that, but you just don't know how to attract the right type of client. You're attracting broke people. Let me know below if you're attracting broke people. I'll tell you where to find them and how to find them. Let me know below. And then finally, you get to the authority. Okay, and it's interesting because I put the authority at the very last, right? If you don't know this 5, okay, if you're still very unclear, very unclear about this 5, it's going to be hard for you to establish a proper authority, which comes obviously with your positioning, right? And this authority, guys, doesn't need to be what sometimes people think in the world out there that it's supposed to be, like all these diplomas and fancy things, like, all these certifications, or, PR mentions, or a fancy website, or like, guys, you do not need any of that. Like, you do not need any of that. Like, people that are trying to sell you on, start a podcast or start this, and like, sure, you can do it, like, but you don't need it for authority, okay? Of course, you're gonna need your experience, because you do need to be able to deliver on the result ethically, right? I'm not gonna tell you that it's ethical to get a client when you're not sure yourself. You're doubting that you can deliver on that result. You probably need to tweak your result, or believe in yourself more, right? There's a lot of people that are experts that have a crap load of imposter syndrome, and believe me, sometimes it creeps on me here and there, and I gotta catch myself. But yeah, basically that's what you want to be really looking at, because if you can't fulfill the result, then you can't ethically sell that. You know what I'm saying? All right. So yeah, it's your experience, okay? And again, if you do have certifications, I'm not saying don't put them, but I'm saying you don't need them, because your experience should be able to do that, right? Like my experience of being able to get other clients, a ton of clients. And I think we have now about like close to like $1 million, if not already over that, of like total sales combined from like all my clients like that we've ever helped with, right? So that's a cool milestone, right? And that's part of that experience, right? Now you also gonna need your story, which we'll touch more upon the next part. Okay. And then finally, I think I'm forgetting one. Forgetting one, guys. I think it's positioning. Your story is the one that will give them this. It's that same pathway of you being like, look, man, 2 years ago, I was where you're at, not getting clients, overwhelmed with courses, you know, confused, didn't have a proper organization, making like $5,000 a month. But I found Facebook groups. I found this system, this 3-step system. And then I went from working 40, 50 hours a week to working less than half, like part-time, right? While also making multiple 6 figures. What, right? So that becomes your story that gives people that aha moment, that transformation, right? Now, you don't need to have done exactly the result for yourself necessarily, okay? As long as you can deliver on the promise and it's about them and your client, then you can deal with that. Hope that makes sense. All right. And yeah, and finally, your positioning, right? Your positioning comes from your superpower, you know, the thing that makes you super unique. Like in our case, we think, at least, I mean, you guys can let me know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think our superpower is the fact that we're doing it together, kind of like a young couple, and, you know, and we're married. And so it's a little bit different than most guys out there. Most people are just like a, you know, maybe a single guy or a married guy, but only the guy shows up, or, right? So in this case, it's like both of us, right? Which is pretty cool. And yeah, and obviously part of our superpower is just simplifying the crap out of things. Like less is more, like meditation, like peace, stillness, right? Like not much noise. It's funny because a lot of people that I talk to that are agency owners, they're losing their marbles. They're losing their marbles because they have so much noise. They're so reactive to everyday things and putting out fires every day, and they got like a team before the time. And guys, I've been there, right? Like I had about like 14, 15 clients a month paying me recurring, like at one point with the agency. But more importantly, I had like about 8 people that I had hired that were working like for me, that were doing things for me, from VAs to like a Facebook ads guy to a funnels guy to like, I was doing the whole works, and I was driving myself nuts. And it's funny because a lot of people are chasing the income they want, you know, 6, 7 figures, right? But they think that the only way to get there is with that model. So then they start going that way, and then they realize this is not what I want. This is not what fits my lifestyle. I didn't think it was going to be this time consuming or this stressful or XYZ. And then they start self-sabotaging themselves, and then they never grow, right? And that's kind of what started happening to us. I noticed that I was waking up and I wasn't feeling excited. I didn't have that fire in me. And if you don't have that fire, my friend, you will not make it, because business is something that you need to have deep inside from the heart, and you want to do it because of the people that you want to serve. But it also needs to match, man. It needs to match your lifestyle. I'm a big believer that you need to build your business around your vision and around your purpose, not around the dollar. Okay, very important. All right, so once you get clear on this niche, result, current reality, pathway, offer, authority, once you got that, right? And again, all of this together, you know, will give us like like clarity, will give us massive clarity. And when we have clarity, guys, like there's power. Clarity is power. And a lot of you guys, you know, actually the reason we put together the workshop, that 3-day workshop we're doing, where we're teaching all this stuff, and people are implementing it on the call, and we're there to give them feedback so that they never again screw up these ones, right? Never again. And they're solid, and they're sure. And once they got clarity, they got power, they can put in action, and boom, they can start getting clients. So when I raise this guy, I'm gonna move to step number 2. All right. Step number 2. Attraction. Traction marketing. Oops. Perfect. Attraction marketing. Guys, let me ask you a question. You should be very, very honest with me. How many of you guys love cold calling? Not me. How many of you guys love cold messaging people, cold emailing people? Not me. I did that. I actually worked for like 3 months. About 3 months on like a call center. Outbound calls all day, every day, dialing for dollars, baby. Gave me some edge. I also did door-to-door sales. Gave me some edge, but I do not like it. Maybe you like it. Maybe so then if you like it, this training is not for you. I gotta make sure people are in the right place at all times. So yes, this does not include cold calling, cold messaging, SEO, paid ads even. There's a time for paid ads. I'm not against paid ads, but I wouldn't touch paid ads unless you're making at least 25K a month personally. Okay, that's what we've done, right? And this was a recommendation from one of my mentors. Like, we're not that smart, guys. I actually started going into ads very early in the game, and I messed up, and I lost a bunch of money, and I got all super discouraged. No, you do not need that. I'm gonna show you how to get them, how to attract them. So, attraction marketing. How do you attract people? How do you get them to come to you? How do you get someone's attention? And then boom, engaging with your content, engaging with who you are, what you offer, the result you give, and all this good stuff, right? In a world where there's so much noise, right? Like, there's so much noise. How do you cut through the clutter? How do you attract people, right? So we had 5 pieces of content, okay? 5 pieces of content that do that for us, okay? You guys can see, yeah, looks good. Okay, I'm gonna write them down, then I'm gonna go through them like one by one with you guys. Mm-hmm. Finally, put up the pitch. And if you look in the group, you'll see all 5 of these ones I do, and you can find examples. But let's go one by one. So the mission call out, it's literally geared to just get like the right person to like see it and call themselves out, like, hey, plumbers, hey, coaches, hey, blah, blah. And then the mission part, the mission call out, becomes your result. Okay, once again, this is a beautiful way to test if your result is good or not, whether it's on groups, whether it's on your personal profile or your own group, which I'm going to talk about that towards the end if we got time. So I got 30 minutes. I got to jump on another call after. But yeah, the mission call out. So mine says something along the lines of, hey, I'm on a mission to help 5 entrepreneurs. And we've done different numbers because of different offers that we promoted at the time. But let's just say I'm in a mission to help 5 purpose-driven coaches or entrepreneurs generate $25,000 a month without Facebook ads. Who's with me? Right? And so there's a lot of people that might see that and they're like, man, I'm that coach, number 1. Number 2, I do want to generate $25,000, right? That result speaks to them. And number 3, right? Who's with me? Like, who's with me? It's such a beautiful call out. And again, I didn't come up with this myself. I learned this from Andrew Cruz, by the way. Great guy, love the dude. And, it really is a very simple type of post, but don't let its simplicity fool you, because this has gotten us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because it's so simple that no one does it. So when you do it, you look like a champ in front of your like clients' eyes, and then they comment. They're like, "Man, I'm interested. Yes, I'm with you. Yes, da da da." And so you then transition them, right? All of these ones are meant to be transitioned into Messenger. Okay, I'm going to reveal to you guys our 9-step call script, or our framework, I should call it, not so much a script, more of a framework on how to take someone, you know, from a simple phone call or a live event or a conversation all the way to a powerful high ticket sale. Okay, but all of these ones should carry through Messenger. Okay, that's the purpose of all of them, for them to go through Messenger. And the reason why I'm saying Messenger is because, yes, of course you can send them to your website, okay? But there's something powerful that happens when there's that intimate touch. Again, that's up until you get to 25,000 a month. After, you definitely want to start running ads, and you definitely want to get like appointments booked, and then you just like on the phone with them like the whole time. And then that's how you go from like 25 to like 100K a month. Got it? But yeah, anyways, I won't get into that stuff. But personal stories is my second favorite. Okay, this was my favorite because it's just so simple. And then they comment, and then you're like, yeah, awesome. Like, can I PM you? Cool. Like, and then you just start chatting with them, and you know is the right avatar because they call themselves out, right? They raise their hand. If someone raises their hand, what do we want to do? We want to like follow up. We want to be right there with them, right? Now, personal story. I love personal stories because, again, we are wired, right, for stories. We're wired to communicate in this very simple way. And, you know, I love Jesus personally, and I love how he communicated. He always used parables. So many parables, in fact, like people didn't understand many of the time. So even their disciples didn't understand sometimes, and they'd be asking him in private, be like, what does this mean? Like, what does that mean, right? And I love it because if I start going into very, very specific on like, you know, how to do all this story, like I can lose you guys. But if I say, hey, you know, there was a certain man that went out and sowed his seed. Part of it fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it. Another part fell on rocky grounds, and it grew, but when the sun came out, scorched it, and it dried out. Another seed fell among thorns and thistles, and it grew, and it choked. It choked the plant. But one seed fell into the good soil, and it gave fruit. In one case, 100-fold, and 60-fold, and 30-fold. Right? So in so little, right? In 1 minute or whatever, 2 minutes, I just said it to you. I just gave you like a really complex lesson, but boiled down to like easy, right? That's what you want to do with personal stories. You want to bridge the gap between like all this complexity, right? Like there's so much noise, right? So much noise out there right now. So much noise. And you want to be able to simplify. You want to be the guy or the woman known for simplifying and making it easy for them to get complex concepts, right? And so stories are great for that. And I love just turning like day-to-day like things that happen into lessons, and those become those powerful stories that later they get ton of attention. Like my wife has some that have like 600 likes and stuff like that, like on different groups she's posted and whatnot, and it's powerful. And from here, a lot of people reach out as well. So stories, guys, stories. Number 3, education. This is educational content, right? I could have written this as well, right? I could have just gave you guys the 411 with just writing. Could have been. I decided to go live today. It doesn't really matter if you're doing video or written. The point is to do that. The point is to have educational pieces that bridge that gap, right? Like I think one of the key pieces here as well. Right? And again, just remembering this over and over, your current reality, your desired result. This piece is right here. those become your educational pieces, right? Like in my case, number one is the Northern Star, which is what I just showed you. Number two is the attraction system, and then the closing system, right? Simple. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 if you really need to break it down because you feel like your audience might get confused. But in general, once again, using the rule of threes. So yeah, education. I love that. I love educational ones. They're really good. Dan Lok does a lot of educational ones. Gary Vee, for example, does a lot of personal story ones. Because he's just being filmed with his blog and whatnot. But anyways, you can find all kinds of examples, but that's like key, right? Number 4, testimonials. Guys, there's nothing more powerful than that social proof that just kind of validates what you do. You see me sometimes posting testimonials, different screenshots, conversations, like actual live conversations of our clients that being like, yeah, like I just made like $14,000. And I'm like, wee-hoo, right? And those you share. And you want to share those by actually pinpointing that transformation and being like, hey, like one of our case studies, right? Well, one of our clients, his name is Guido. He was working with us, and he went from $1,500 a month to $24,000 a month in like less than 90 days. Like less than 90 days, he was already making 24, like close to 25,000 a month. Like, isn't that awesome, right? So that's what you want to do in testimonials. You want to be able to say, hey, you know, Susie was feeling very unhealthy, and you know, she was not confident with her body, and her clothes didn't fit properly, you know, but after like 30 days, 60 days, 12 weeks, whatever it might be, she lost 20 pounds, and she also recovered like her confidence. She feels better than ever in her own skin, and she actually got a raise. Boom, right? So like that's the transformation. That's the power of testimonials. And then finally, the pitch, right? And again, these are the only 5 pieces that you're gonna need. Now, you might be asking, where do I post this? What do I do with this ones? Well, I personally love all these ones to go both in my profile, personal profile, and my group, right? You know, this training is exclusive to this group. I'm not sharing it in my profile. So sometimes I'll do certain things exclusive to the groups. I believe that's kind of like my tribe, right? Versus my profile, which is kind of more public, right? Hope that makes sense. And so, yeah, I just post this one. So guys, like, I think you're familiar. We have a guide. If you scroll to the top of this group, you'll see it in the pin post, where we had a $20,000 launch with like no ads, no list, no group, no nothing. We just posted it. We posted this one, we posted this one, we posted this one. Pretty much these 3. Actually, I think we did this one too. We didn't have many, I don't think we had many educational ones at the time, but nonetheless. And guys, like, just with the profile, like we made that in like more, like, yeah, I think it ended up being like 24,000 and change, but with like nothing, organic, right? But again, key, this part was nailed finally after so long. The Northern Star I showed you with the niche, result, current reality, pathway, offer, authority. That's what was messing us up. That wasn't clear. And we started noticing with my wife that people were not clear on that. And we figure we haven't been clear ourselves for a long time before we learned that all that with our mentor. And maybe there's other people that are struggling with the same thing. What if we could put it together in a 3-day container, a 3-day workshop where we taught you this, but we were there with you all pretty much over the shoulder, making sure that every single piece, like every single point of the 6 Northern Star elements are like pristino, so that when you get to this part, it's powerful. Because a lot of people don't know how to write copy, and copy takes a while, but it's going to take you so much more longer if you are not sure about who you serve, what your offer is, what your pathway is. That's what's going to really get you in trouble. And I always say the lack of knowledge of your avatar is the root of all evil in business, pretty much, right? All right, guys. So I want to erase this part. I hope that makes sense as far as the attraction marketing. Again, once this ones are dialed in, this one become your fuel to get to that 100K mark. in ads. But again, if they're not dialed in, you have no plays running ads or trying to do crazy launches or writing a book or writing a course or stay away. Stay away. If you need help, reach out, because it's a waste of time. I did it, by the way, guys. I got super froggy at some point and I started developing a whole course, guys. I never launched the course, or I think I soft launched it and it completely bombed and I was super insecure. It was gnarly. So anyways, you want to make sure that that's dialed in, guys. Okay. And then finally, and again, I'll just do a quick parenthesis here. Quick parenthesis, quick funnel here, just for anyone that might be watching this. That's like, Andres, I'm already at 25,000 a month, like, or 10,000, but I'm really getting like I want more clients now, right? You need a funnel. You need this funnel, okay? Or it's called the high ticket funnel. Inbox me if you want, or leave a comment below. I'll hook you up with one we use. So Facebook ad to a video sales letter or webinar, but nonetheless, this is a video, right? And this video sends them to an application, right? So yeah, you might have like a video here, right? And this might be like a little app. That's it, guys. It's a two-step funnel, no brainer. So of course, if you're getting applications at, 200 bucks, let's say, per application, but you're closing 1 out of 5 people, 1 out of 4 people for a 25K program or a 10K program, well, no brainer. You can scale the crap out of that, right? So I just want to make sure you guys understood that. And again, there is a time and a place for courses and other things like that. I'm just teaching you mainly specifically for people that want to get off the ground to that first 25K and then be able to scale. Like we actually do this in our inner circle, but the main thing that we're doing for the workshop and some of the other stuff is definitely just getting to that 10, 25K mark, right? So just to make sure that there's no confusion in that. Anyways, last but not least, closing deals. Guys, most of the sales that are missed are mindset issues or mindset blocks. People are too attached to the sale. They know how to handle objections. They don't respect themselves. Anyway, so all sorts of things. But I'm going to give you my 9-step framework to close clients, and I'll go over them super quick. I got about 20 minutes. So hopefully we can get through that in this 20 minutes. Let me know, by the way, if this has been valuable to you in the comments section below. If so, I'll do more of these ones. I think there was some good interest, I think, on like productivity and like what are the daily tasks. And again, that will depending on where you are, how much you're making, what business. Like, like sometimes it's hard to just like I need to sit down a consulting session like this with like the whiteboard and be able to guide you to tell you exactly what applies to you. But nonetheless, if you're trying to get to 25,000, come to the workshop. We got like, I think 2 spots left for our beta, and then our beta closes till we get everyone results, and then we open it again. But now it's going to be basically like a little bit more than double the price. And when I get to the beta workshop, the last beta we're doing, a last little group, let me know below. Maybe hit me up with like I'm in on the workshop, or I'm interested in the workshop. I want to know more details or whatever else, and I'll hook you up. All right, let's do this. So number 1, connection and agenda. And again, I always recommend write them down. This one's very good. Motivation and current reality. You will see these things keep repeating over and over. Okay, maybe I'll do 3 at a time just to not overwhelm you guys. Okay. We've been able to close hundreds of thousands of dollars with this script, guys. So this is like absolute gold. For a while, I was just keeping it to like my inner circle for a while. And then this year was the first time that we're like, okay, let's just like reveal it to people, for free. Hopefully they apply it and they win. And, obviously if you win, then it's a win-win for us. Anyways, number one, connection and agenda, right? So one of the main things that people do wrong here on sales calls, just in general, is you do not take the lead. You kind of freak out, or you're attached to the sale or whatever else, and you don't set the agenda. You don't kind of like guide the call. So you're just kind of reactive, and so they start asking you questions, or and then you start answering. Wrong. Connection agenda. You want to start right away and be like, hey, yeah, hey, how's it going? Yeah, where are you calling from? Like, little chat, whatever. Hey, if it's cool with you, Bob, like we can get started right now with this call. It's like, yeah, all right, awesome. Well, Bob, listen, it's my intention to get to know you here a little bit better about what you do, what you want, where you want to go, and all of that. If there's synergy for me to support you, cool. We can talk about that at the end. If not, I want you to know there's no pressure. But I just want to start with asking you some questions. Is that okay with you? Yeah, no problem. Okay, anyways, we have a whole section just kind of framing that call. I also like to ask people, by the way, and this is a gem, just so that you're not running into this objection later in the call. You say something like, listen, also at the end of this call, one of these three things will happen. Number one, you're going to say yes to me, and we're going to work together, and it's going to be freaking awesome. Number two, you'll say no to me, and that's totally cool. But sometimes people say, I want to think about it. But you and I know that I want to think about it just means politely no. So can I ask that you only work with me in a yes or no basis? Does that sound fair to you? Right? Boom, right? So yes, that sounds fair. Yes or no only. So now the I want to think about it objection won't come at the end, or it shouldn't come up at the end. Okay? Now, after you set the connection, you set the agenda, great. You want to dive now into it with the very first question. Listen, what motivated you to schedule this call with me today? Like, why are we here, right, in short? And specifically, you want to start asking, you want to get your ear ready for, what's that current reality look like? Where are they right now? Professionally, financially, just you want to get a clear idea of what's happening in their life, okay? Once you do that, you want to kind of switch gears. I usually say something like, hey, listen, Bob, like I want to switch gears right now. I want to talk about your vision. If you and I were sitting in a coffee shop 12 months from now, chatting, having a good time, and you were just raving and telling me like all these awesome things that happened last year, like what must have happened? What needs to happen for you to feel it's been the best, the greatest year ever? Tell me about it. Right? And so boom, now they start, well, if I was making, $50,000 a month, if I was able to spend more time with my kids, if I didn't have as much stress, maybe I would sleep better, right? So you want to capture that vision, okay? Then once you do that, you're now going to number 4, which is challenges and problems. Okay, so you come from the vision. Hey, yeah, like I want to do all these different things. It's amazing, great. Now, what's in the way of all of that? Like, what's the block, right? Your client just told you that they have this really cool vision, right? With like all these things they want to achieve, but they're here. So we want to narrow down and be like, what is the wall? Like, what's in the way of all this, right? Like, what is this? What's that wall? Like, why? What I'm saying? Like, why are you not there yet? Okay, I want to take the time to explore that as well, because if you cannot define a problem or a pain clearly, you're not gonna close. Like, also remember that. A lot of the times people say here things like, I don't have enough money. It's not a problem, guys. That's a symptom of not knowing how to make money. Or people say, I don't have time. Well, It's not a problem. That's a symptom of not knowing how to organize the 24 hours that you have, like every day. Like we all have the same 24 hours, right? Elon Musk's running like 8 companies or something crazy. Like, how does the man do it? Like, I'm only running one. Like, I can't say that I don't have enough time, and that's my problem, right? Like, I'm sure the man is extremely busy. He just knows how to leverage people, leverage resources, become way more resourceful than most people. That's the key, guys. So you want to really hone in on, like, what is that problem? What's that challenge? What is the dealio, right? Once you define problems and challenges, now you want to move into what I call the true cost. Okay, and this is one of the sections where it's going to start to get a little uncomfortable with people, usually, mainly. And it's just because you're trying to help them understand what are like the real consequences of them not changing, right? Like most often than not, I find that people, will, we were talking about this earlier, people don't move towards pleasure. They want to move away from pain, right? So you want to really make sure they understand what's at stake, right? Like, let me give you an example. I was in a call, with a person, with a prospect, and they were saying that, the business, or like the way things were right now, was causing a lot of mental health, like mental issues, right? And he's saying that, they weren't full-blown panic attacks just yet, but it was stressful, right? Like this person could see in their day-to-day how it was affecting them. Now, interesting thing here is she hadn't understood the consequences of not changing, right? The consequences of things staying exactly the same. So when I start probing and I asked her, like, what will it continue to cost you in your mental health? Like, it's a very valid question. And she was like, oh, shoot. And then she started exploring it, with my help and questions. And she was like, oh my gosh, like, I never realized that I need to change things now. Because if I don't change things now, what's going to happen is I'm going to break down. I'm going to actually have a panic attack. I'm going to like maybe fall into depression. My health is going to get bad. Now I'm going to have all sorts of other issues, right? So that's what you really want to understand. Same with men, maybe you're a coach and you help men, right? And maybe this guy is, let's just say, extremely stressed because of work or business, that he doesn't spend time with his wife. Well, my friend, what are the consequences of not nurturing a relationship with your wife? That maybe it's going to head for divorce, right? So you want to make sure that people understand the real consequences of not taking action, right? So that's the true cost. Then number 6, we got what I call the commitment. Extremely key as well. Extremely key, because without the commitment part, this is where I ask the question, hey, from a scale of 1 to 10, like, how committed are you to change? Because I've had both scenarios. I've had people that say, I'm a 10, and then later I start exploring that they were not a 10, right? But I also have people that have said 7, just being extremely honest with me, and I level them up. And I say, what would it need to happen for you to get to a 10? And we can work that out. We can chat about that, right? So that's really key, guys. Really, really key. Challenges, defining that pain, that problem very clearly, the true cost, the commitment. And then once you got that going, you can move on to the last 3. Okay. Number 7. Right, so now you really want to paint that picture again, right? We talked about the vision a bit, but now this is the part where you're going to take them where from they are, right? Like, once again, like, always remembering our little principle here with the current reality, desired result, right? You want to take them here, right? Like, they're here right now, and especially because you just came from the last section, which is the true cost. So they're like, oh my God, like, that's okay. Like, it's your duty to do that, as a matter of fact, because you are there to help. You're there to like extract that pain, to help them like make a decision that's empowering to them, right? Like, that's what you're there in that call for. You're literally like you're literally there serving people in these calls, because even if they don't buy like from you, you might have helped them make a huge decision and clear like a massive mental or emotional block, right? So you want to up level, and you do that with like questions such as like, hey, like if you didn't have X problem that they told you, like if you didn't have, you know, let's just say just the lack of knowledge, or the fact that you just don't know how to do it, right? If that wasn't an issue, what would be possible in your life? Ooh, right? So now people start going back to the vision of like, well, I'd be able to do this. I'm like, hey, if you were making $25,000 a month, what would that do for you? Oh man, like I'll be able to put my kids in a better school, be able to maybe buy another house or move to a bigger house, or I would travel, or whatever it might be. You want to up level them, and you want to be with them in that up level, and you want to energize their hope. Okay, hope that makes sense to you. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and then now we go into this very important piece where you now make the offer. Okay. And again, a lot of people go wrong here because they start just rambling and ranting, right? Like notice that so far in this process, like I've barely spoken, like personally, right? It's funny. I was in a call recently too, and someone was like, why are you asking me this question? Like so many questions, right? And I'm like, because I don't know if I can help you yet. I need to really figure out and to get a clear picture. Because if I'm fuzzy about where you're at and where you want to go, chances are you're very fuzzy as well, right? And yeah, it might just not be like a good fit. It might be just communication issues. You wanna make sure that you don't have those. Otherwise, you know, you set that relationship up for failure, basically. You know, I used to take pretty much any client. I take very selective clients now, because now I've understood who are ready to like make a shift and like grow and be able to become a case study tomorrow, and who is not able, who is struggling, and they're just like more here than anything. And it's not like, you know, there's only so much one can do to help someone. Like I believe each man, each woman needs to take full responsibility for what they do with their thoughts, what they do with their actions, what they do with their emotions, you know, what they say, things like that. And so there's some decisions that are very, very personal. And if they're not willing, right, they're not willing to make that change, to go to the other side of the bridge, you know, you're not going to help them. And again, I love the quote that Jesus said. He said, the person that is healthy, like the healthy person, is not in need of a physician. He said, like, I came for the lame, the sick, and the broken, right? So only people that want the help, that are ready to take action, that are ready to change their lives, those are the people that will bear fruit, right? So anyways, you make this offer right here, but again, it shouldn't take you more than like 3 minutes, I would say, to present. Literally, like if it's taking you more than 3 minutes, you need help with your offer. You don't know what you're selling. You can't put it in like layman's terms, right? And again, this happens a lot. It used to happen to me, guys. Like I used to like pitch for so long, and I'll be telling them like, yeah, you're gonna like get like Facebook ads, and then I'm gonna do this, and then I can do that for you, and then we're gonna sit down, and then we're gonna do this, and it was just like this long-winded pitch, and I'm like, yeah, and then we can also do that, and I would just talk for like 10 minutes. No wonder why people were like, so what do you do? Like I don't really understand. And then when there's fuzziness, listen close. What can I say, right? So yeah, make the offer. And of course, there's all sorts of objections that I don't have time to. Yeah, I'm pretty much wrapping this up soon, 5 minutes. But you know, all sorts of objections that will come up. Of course, you know, we don't have time to go over everything. That's why we put on the workshop, so we can really dive deeper and specifically for you, like for your business, right? But anyways, last but not least, of course, is the investment. Right? The money. Show me the money. All right? And that's the last section of the script. Again, very key when you get to this part to do it in line with your offer, right? you usually want to take some time to make sure that they're clear on the offer, and even look at what they consider valuable about the features, about the offer. You want to really kind of interact with them a bit in this section over here, because you want to make sure they're crystal clear about the offer. You want to make sure that that it's a match made in heaven, guys. Like I really, like, I don't know how else to explain you, maybe with like the Cinderella analogy here of like, there's only one shoe that fits, right? And you're going to serve a very specific person. If that shoe doesn't fit, it's not a right fit. If it does fit, beautiful. You'll do amazing work together, and they'll become an awesome case study. Although not always. I've definitely misjudged it, and there's people that haven't gotten results, and mainly because they didn't put in the action, right? Like we kept showing up, we kept helping them, but they just stopped showing up, right? So that's, again, we go back to the whole, like, you gotta be able to put in the work. You gotta be willing to be helped, right? Just like anyone, okay? And then with the investment, again, you wanna be able to, make it extremely like fit to what you are worth and what your result is worth, right? And all that. But you also want to make it stupidly affordable, right? You want to make it easy for them to say yes to, right? And there's all sorts of different people, there are different payment plans, different structures, right? Again, it just depends on your avatar, your specific offer, or whatever else, right? But yeah, guys, like that's basically it, right? Like, just gonna throw this back here, right? Like this 3-step system, guys, really simple. As I said, notice I didn't talk about funnels. Notice I didn't talk about, a blog or a podcast, or like, all you gotta do, especially when people are just starting, man, like ClickFunnels is amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I love ClickFunnels. I used to have also another, like, authority website, like very fancy. We used to do podcasts. We used to be trying to build a YouTube, trying to build an Instagram. Like, I've tried it all, guys. And like, I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to get a 25K, like this is the by far the fastest way, because you eliminate all the noise, right? Like, you eliminate, like I said, like cold call, right? You eliminate like websites, right? Like, you eliminate like ads, you eliminate, cold messaging, you eliminate podcasts, you eliminate, like, you name it, right? It just easy, simple, right? Number one, as we said, our Northern Star. Like, true clarity, right? True clarity. Because sometimes we think we're clear, but we're not clear. So true clarity, right? Number two, your attraction system. And as I said before, I personally love Facebook groups. I think it's just the easiest way where you can build your own stage, your own platform, and be able to help people with what you do, just like the group that you're in right now, right? And then finally, our sales, closing those deals. Closing for anywhere from $2,000 to $25,000. So guys, like, let me ask you something. What if you were closing 3 clients at $5,000? Like, what would that do for your business? What would that do for your life? Imagine you were closing every single month, you were closing 3 5K clients, 3 10K clients. Heck, let's say you got 1 a week, you were closing 4. Well, 4 at 5K, you're already at 20K, right? For at 10K, you're at 40K. You're even past that, right? You can start to go now into ads, funnels, and all that other fun stuff. But you see, guys, like, you don't need any of this like complicated stuff that most people are telling you. I'm gonna add funnels here. And again, don't get me wrong, I love funnels, right? Like I love ads. Like, you know, I don't love cold message. I don't love cold call. I don't love podcasts. I don't love, what other one I don't love? SEO. I don't like. I don't like. What other ways to, you know, try to get clients, like networking in person? Been there, done that. None of that. None of that. You only need internet, Zoom, and phone, pretty much. Facebook and a phone, right? Pretty much. So yeah, guys, like this is literally our 3-step system, which we haven't really named officially yet. We've just been doing it because it's evolved, you know, through the years. We used to call this the authentic authority. Now it has a little bit of a different feel. It's just more simple. Just simplify, right? Again, if you're trying to get to 25K a month, this is the easiest path, like by far, because you don't have any of this crap, right? Any of that noise that everyone's trying to sell you. And so, yeah, no wonder why people are like, man, like for me to start a new business, I have to invest like so much money because I need to sell subscriptions and I need to talk to a web guy. I need to a logo. Guys, like my freaking logo is on Canva now. Like, and that comes from a designer. I used to design, like I was a marketing director for like a couple of years, only doing design for like companies like Toyota, Lexus, like bigger brands, right? So I know design, and believe me, you don't need it. You don't need it to get to that 25K a month, which is what I'm trying to say. Like you don't need ads. Ads, yes, there's a time and a place for ads. There's a time and a place for funnels. There's a time and a place for podcasts. There's a time, right? But this come after, guys. Like after you have a validated offer, after you already been able to make sales and you got clarity, right? And you understand how to grow your groups. Because believe me, like I'll tell you a quick example. As I was saying, one of my buddies, Andrew Cruz, he has a group with about like 13,000 members, something along those lines. The dude's making already over $1 million a year, right? My group is not even up to 1,000, and believe me, it's been very profitable, right? So I really suggest doing that because that's the easiest way where you delete all this noise and you just focus on this, right? So anyways, guys, I gotta get going, but if you love this, if this was valuable to you, let me know in the comments below how you can create a high income, very fun type of business, you know, that you love, that it doesn't take you long to run, that it doesn't eat away your life and your soul is getting sucked with all these things you gotta do. Just simple. And yeah, just let me know if you want to be part of the workshop. As I said, I think we got 2 spots left. I gotta check with my wife. She's got all the numbers and all the things, but you got 2 spots left, I believe. Let me know in the comments if you want in on the workshop. It's just a 3-day workshop where I'm gonna take you through these 3 steps so that you can land every single month 2 to 25K clients, like consistently, organic, without all this noise, without all this crap. So anyways, guys, love you all. Let me know how everything goes, and I'll talk to you guys soon.